Everybody, I'm back and I'm ready to dive into Module 3. Time is moving so quickly and we are already here. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we've got for this week. As always, we're going to click on our content page. This week our content page is Child Development. And as usual in Children's Lit, we have a lot going on. So this week our focus in our open education resource, which of course is our textbook, if you will, is on child development. And we will be breaking down the developmental stages of reading for infants, toddlers, early childhood, and school-age children. It's a really interesting read, especially for those of you who have a real interest in child development. Okay, so our week is going to unpack as it usually does. I'm sure we're pretty used to it by now. We will have our reading organizer on child development. That is due Tuesday of this week. Everyone is doing a very nice job with submitting your reading organizers on time, so thank you very much. Please continue on making sure you're taking a look at the rubric, answering all 3 of the prompts in a nice meaty paragraph. Usually about 75 to 100 words is what the rubric requires. If you have any problems or issues with some of the triads, if one triad or do it or see it is not working, do another one. There's plenty to choose from. So continue with that. You're doing a really nice job with your reading organizers. Let's see, we have our reading commentary number 4, which is on the Giselle Award, or the Dr. Seuss Award winners. Always a fun topic because Dr. Seuss Award winner books are usually very, very fun. So if my tab would open here. And let's see, we'll just jump over here. Here we go. This is the award winner books for the Theodore Seuss Giselle Award winners, or honor books. You are welcome to use the winners or the honor books. That's fine with me. Starting here, it goes from 2018 down to 2006. You're welcome to choose any of the ones that are on this list. As always, make sure that you have a copy of that book in hand so that you can take a picture of it, either with you in the picture or just the books. I love to see my happy students enjoying their wonderful books in the pictures, but if you aren't wanting to do that, of course, it's certainly not a requirement. Okay, so once you've chosen the 2 books that you want to review, you will jump back over to the reading commentary. You're going to reread the books with attention to how the book encourages and supports beginning readers. Now, you will have done the child development reading, so that will be very helpful in understanding what we're looking for this reading commentary. Think about how the book demonstrates creativity and imagination in order to encourage beginning readers. Decide what developmental stage this book was created for. Was it for infants, toddlers, early childhood, or early readers? Once you have kind of formulated that into your head, you'll be ready to make your initial post for each of your 2 books. Please include the title and the author, and then a quick description of the developmental stage that you believe that the book was intended for. So in the reading this week, you learned about different developmental stages. Which of the following 4 do you think this book supports and why? Use language and definitions from the text to support your analysis for infants, toddlers, early childhood, or early readers. How does the book demonstrate creativity and imagination? 2 to 3 sentences is all I'm looking for. And then what topics or ideas does this book help students explore or learn about in 2 to 3 sentences? And of course, attach a picture of each book in your thread. Do that for both of your books, and then be sure to make that post by Thursday night so that everybody has a chance to make their response post to you. Remember that you are required to respond to 2 classmates by Sunday night. Most of you are doing fantastic on your initial post. You're including all of the important expected information, but where you're getting points deducted is because you're not going in and responding back to your classmates. It's worth 2 points on the rubric, so do make sure that you are doing that. If you're only able to get into Canvas to respond to these RCs once a week, then respond all together on that week. If you're able to get back in and respond by Sunday night, by all means, but don't forget, okay? Because I get so bummed out when I have to lose points for you guys when those participation posts are not made. So do make sure that you're jumping back in and responding and starting that conversation with your classmates. Once you have done that, you are going to be focusing on your first Lit study for the week. Now, back in Module 2, I reminded you that you will be having a literature study, your first one of 4, and the book this week is Because of Winn-Dixie. So hopefully that book is just about read, and you're ready for the Lit study. You do definitely need a copy of this book to help you in unpacking this assignment. This is a really easy read, a very, very fun read. If you have young children at home or if you're working on your read aloud hours, I recommend this book. It is so much fun. Both of my boys thoroughly enjoyed it. I've read it a couple of times to each one. It's just a fun book. A couple of people have asked me if this assignment is that you are creating your own picture book based on a story like Winn-Dixie or, creating your own story. No, you're really just doing a review of what's happening in this book. So your picture book is simply just a breakdown of what's happening within the chapters of Because of Winn-Dixie. So we've divided it out into 5 sections. So section 1 is chapters 1 through 5, 2, chapters 6 through 10, 3, chapters 11 through 15, 4, 16 through 20, and 5, 21 through 26. For each of the sections, you're going to illustrate or create an illustration that represents each section. So for chapters 1 through 5, you will create one illustration that represents the synopsis of what happens in that section. If you are an artist or enjoy creating artwork, then please, by all means, use crayons, pencils, markers, whatever you'd like to create this illustration. If you're not comfortable with that, I am completely fine with an electronic image that would represent each one of these sections. So the image should just represent the gist of whatever is happening within that story. For each section, once you have created your images or found your images, then you will have a summary or synopsis of each section in your own words. And I believe that that is the key term there. I'm aware that there's lots of summaries online for all books, including this one, but I'm not looking for an online summary. I'm looking for a summary from you. So do make sure that it is in your own words. I will be able to tell. I'm very familiar with all of the summaries available out there. So in your own words, just break down what happens in each one of the sections. Think about the structure of the book, when we are introduced to the characters, setting, problem, when the plot develops, how characters are developed, and when it is solved. And that all of that does happen within each of these sections. So in total, your submission should be, I recommend using PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Prezi, something like that, where you're able to put in an image and then put the synopsis either in the notes section or on the slide itself. It makes it very simple and easy to do. So for section 1, we'll say chapter 1 through 5, you will include your illustration and your synopsis of the story in your own words. So in total, you should have about 5 slides, or if you prefer to do a slide of a picture or the image and then a slide of the synopsis, that's fine. But however you would like to do it is just fine. Simply 5 slides would be fine with me. These sentence starters are here for your own help in getting started with breaking down the synopsis. It is certainly not required. So in this section, we were introduced to, and you could just say, we were introduced to these characters, or this particular problem, or this setting. We learned more about these characters, this problem, etc. The section ended with us waiting to learn or wanting to learn more about this plot, problem, or characters, or we've finally learned and solved this situation. Again, these are starters to help you. They are certainly not required, but I do believe that they are helpful in getting your synopsis across. So use the electronic tool of your choice and submit to Canvas. So that is the assignment. If you have any questions, please email me through Canvas and I'd be happy to help you break it down a little more. And as we know, we always have more on our back burner. So last week you let me know who your readers are with your read aloud assignment. So I recommend definitely getting started on making a plan to meet with your readers. If you can start this week, that's great. It's going to really make things less stressful as we get towards the second half of our semester. Every time you meet with your reader, you want to reflect using your journal. So for your first hour, you will start this. So after every time you've met with your reader or readers, you will then do a summary or observation and the participation. So what did you see and do during that time that you met together? And then your reflection. What went well? What could have gone better? What ideas did you like that you used, or strategies that you used to help with engagement or open up a discussion, or include them in choosing the reading? What did you do that you really liked? What questions or concerns were raised? Did you have problems keeping their attention? Anything that you feel like there's a problem, or what might you do better next time. So this should be done after each time you meet with your reader. This should not be done at the end of the 10 hours. You will not remember each one of the hours. So do make sure that you're doing it, and it will help you for the next time that you meet with your reader. I've had some students ask me about ages. I definitely recommend starting with children no younger than about 2.5, because you simply just can't plan and do the reflection as easily with children who are in that infancy and very, very, very young toddler stage. About 2.5 is a good point. And if you are working with readers that young, please remember that you must break down the time increments. So not expecting more than 15 minutes of reading with those real young readers. As they get older, we know their attention spans grows, and we certainly are able to meet for longer increments of time. So do definitely mark your calendar on how you're going to get these 10 hours met. Start early. I don't want anybody to be stressed out. And of course, there's always more to be on the horizon in children's lit. So looking ahead, next week we'll dive into traditional literature. I will do another video for that because we are running out of time. But looking ahead, we will have our next literature study on the Hunger Games. And it is a great book. If you haven't had the opportunity to read it as of yet, I think you're in for a fun surprise, even if you've already seen the book. So do make sure that you are planning on getting the Hunger Games read over these next few weeks. And by the time you have finished it, you will be ready for your for the next literature study assignment. So that's just looking ahead. And as we jump back here to child development, oops. That is all we have for the week. Just kind of be looking ahead. Remember, if you only are making one trip to the library, take a look at your looking ahead reading commentary list to kind of give you an idea of what's coming ahead. Okay, next week I will dive into traditional literature, and then have a discussion on what we will be doing before and after spring break, which is coming up right before we know it. So hope you have a wonderful, wonderful first week of Module 3, and I will see you again for our next announcement next week. Please email me through Canvas if you have any questions. Have a great week, everybody.